Yes, well, you'll need to back apartheid, murder trade unionists, use the police to put down strikes, ban homosexuality from classrooms.
I also think that you need to privatise everything that isn't already nailed down. You need to impose a flat rate tax on the poor so that they can't live at all.
And you will need to start a jingoistic war that needlessly costs hundreds of lives, just to distract everyone from how badly things are going back here.
And you'll need to lose the pearls, I'm afraid.
Well, all of that senseless slaughter and violence sounds rather good fun. But the pearls are non-negotiable. That's the tone we want to strike. Firm but fair.
No, I won't back down.
Hello and welcome to 2012. It's January, that time of year again, when we forget about the beloved films of the previous 12 months and instead we concentrate wholly on pretentious crap that some big-name director and big-name actor have peddled us in the upcoming month to the Oscar nominations. This year, up for consideration, is The Iron Lady, which not only shamelessly rips off the King's speech.
Where?
No. No. No.
Yes, it's pronounced nice to see you. That's how she say.
No.
Excuse me. Is it time for my appointment?
I'm sorry, Bertie. No, you'll have to wait a bit longer. Continue, Margaret.
Apologise.
No. No.
Yes. Lower, lower, yes.
But most critics have ridiculously missed the point of in claiming that it is depoliticised. It is not depoliticised, and actually it's quite dangerous to suggest that it is. Thatcher's ideology is more than present here. There's a condemnation of socialism, trade unionism, a fetishisation of the markets, a justification of flat rate taxation. That's not depoliticised. That's very bloody political, and to suggest that there's no politics in this film suggests that there's some kind of common sense to these ideas, some kind of basic human nature to do horrible things to other people for profit. It's an idea that I think frankly needs challenging, and that's why I'm going to do a review myself. The film charts the meteoric rise of Margaret Roberts, who later became Thatcher, the daughter of a grocer's daughter from a small town, to become Prime Minister of Great Britain. And perhaps most repulsively about this film, she's portrayed as some kind of feminist icon. That's cobblers, not least because Margaret Thatcher made it quite apparent she hated feminists, but also, point one, she had to marry someone in order to be considered fit for Parliament. Point two, Parliament, at the time when she was elected, had 25 women MPs in it. Where are they in this film? It's portrayed as a sea of penises that Margaret Thatcher has to stand up against and fight for all that she ever wants. Where are the women? It's like they've disguised themselves in some sort of Life of Brian sketch. And frankly, I think that's appalling.
I object to this woman being in Parliament. She should get back in kitchen and cook someone some pie. Woman!
She's not a man.
Methinks the lady has... methinks the lady has too much vagina.
There's also a scene in the film where some sycophantic goes up after a dinner party to the elderly Lady Thatcher and confesses to her what an inspiration she and countless other women across the world have found Margaret Thatcher to be.
Maggie, you're an inspiration to women the world over.
Now, I don't know about you, but I don't suspect that the 80% of the November 30th strike that were female feel particularly inspired by Margaret Thatcher or any of her policies that they are now having to fight against. Not only that, but the cuts disproportionately affect women. David Cameron's Thatcherite policies disproportionately affect women. What I want to know is, how on earth does that make her any sort of feminist icon? Think about it. Her and her policies reflect the worst aspects of male-dominated capitalism in the 20th and 21st century.
Mr. Speaker, I may have been raised a weak and feeble-bodied, feeble-minded woman.
Woman! Woman! Woman!
But that does not mean that I do not hate women just as much as any man stood in this chamber. I hate single mothers. I hate women trying to obtain education for themselves. Most of all, I hate myself. And that is why I am just as fit as anyone in here with a swinging dong to be a member of Parliament. Woman! 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 Woman!
One of the more disturbing things about the film is the sheer level of fictionalisation that takes place in what is supposed to be based upon real events. For example, there's about 4 seconds of footage where Nelson Mandela waltzes with Margaret Thatcher, dancing up and down as if they're best of friends, when actually Margaret Thatcher had described him as a terrorist. She had also described his party as a terrorist organisation, and he had declined to actually meet her in 1990, the only year he actually visited the country while she was in power.
Oh, where? It's your 5-minute call. I do not care. Leave me alone. Why? I would rather go back to Robin Island than spend 5 minutes with that rancid old hag.
But you have to, sir.
No, I will not dance with her. They will use it in some kind of disgusting propaganda film.
So not only is she weirdly portrayed as some kind of heroine of freedom, triumphing against things like apartheid, but also there's a really distinctly creepy lack of any kind of real opposition in the video. Apart from sexist trade unionists and fat Labour backbenchers, there's never really any sense of people who actually were worthy to stand up against her. People who campaigned for better rights for working people.
Tony Ben, are we going to be in this film?
I don't know, Oscar. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's still blocked up pretty tight, I have to say.
Fucking hell, we need to get out of there fast. Roy Jenkins is looking a bit peaky over there.
Well, it can't get any worse.
No, it can't.
Trapped in a bathroom for 16 months with a pair of old cultures and a skeleton.
Billy Bragg again.
It's like a dirty great metaphor for Thatcher's rule. David Cameron, you're a bloody fool. Bloy la loy loy la loy loy loy. Bloy la loy loy. Sing along, bloy loy loy.
There's no mention of Arthur Scargill, there's no mention of Tony Benn, there's no, to a lesser extent, mention of Billy Bragg. There's no mention of these people who fought against Thatcher in order to improve the world, to stand against the policies that were actively making ordinary people's lives worse. And you never really see how ordinary people's lives get worse, except for one scene where one man runs past a car and shouts at her, "You're not a mother, you're a monster." But why is she considered a monster and not a mother? We never really hear from this mystery man again for the rest of the film. For all intents and purposes, the director seems to have felt that his arguments and cause were irrelevant. What we do hear from, however, apart from the token shots of riot footage that aren't even from the same year and are in fact shown in the wrong order, what we do hear from are the newspapers. The newspaper headlines say profits, 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 as if that's all that matter to ordinary people. Profits. Little pointers, little arrows on a chart going upwards. As long as that's happening, everyone else's suffering is irrelevant. Everything is good. One of the other things that bothers me about the Thatcher film is that, frankly, it uses some quite cheap and dirty tactics in order to humanise the Prime Minister who caused so much suffering to ordinary people across the country and indeed the world.
I'll be mother.
Now, the two tactics that the film uses in order to do this are, firstly, it tells the story of the great love of Margaret Thatcher's life.
Dennis? Dennis! You've not been at the PVA again, have you? Get up, you're missing the party and I want to dance. I love you.
Whoa, now did I hear some young lady say she'd like to dance, or am I hearing voices again?
But Mr. Reagan, you have a wife.
Who the hell is Ronald Reagan?
Much is that doggy in the window, the one with the waggly tail.
Mrs. Thatcher, if I told you I had something that could trickle down, would I make you wetter than an otter's pocket? Oh my, here we go.
Yeah, don't worry about that, dear. I touched Claude about 5 minutes ago.
Secondly, it attempts to humanise her by playing on the fact that in the later years of her life she suffers from dementia. So with that in mind, I thought to myself, if I transplant this equation of tyrant plus sympathetic angle equals sympathetic protagonist, and apply it to another of history's great monsters, will it have the same effect?
Peter, you are my only friend. I have killed millions of people. I have killed my wife, my daughter. I screwed up. And Khrushchev is plotting against me. My loyal parrot. What do I do? What do I do? Speak. Trotsky. What? No! No, Peter! No! No! Oh! Oh, no! 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 My pipe, Peter!
Man of Steel, what is wrong?
Peter, my parrot is dead!
But, Comrade Stalin, you have killed your parrot. Oh!
No, Peter, why? Why?
Comrade, it is also a hand puppet and a duck.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Everyone is dead.
First of all, this film degrades dementia to the standard of something that legitimises Thatcherite policy. It could have been a film that talked about the immeasurable suffering of those people who are elderly or suffering from dementia, who are also hit by Thatcherite policy, by cuts to their care, to their benefits. Those people who are in nursing homes that are going to close down as a result of the cuts. Those people who are being affected by fuel poverty. Thousands of people are going to die of cold this winter as a result of partly the privatisation of British gas. And none of it was covered in this film. That's what dementia has been reduced to in The Iron Lady. The worst possible thing that this film really has to say is that it's only sad when it happens to someone important, not when it's you or me, ordinary people. And for that reason, I have to conclude by saying this isn't worthy of the Jack Brindelli seal of disapproval. This is worthy of a great big fat fuck you.
Just a lad of 16 summers, when the mining gates locked, I stood there with me brothers, some with their rifles cocked. Just hold on to your shirt, me boys, this is going the whole way. Don't you worry was the answer back, we're with you Arthur all the way. And we'll dance, yes we'll dance on your grave, Mrs. Thatcher. We'll dance, yes we'll dance We'll dance on your grave, Mrs. Thatcher. She had come well prepared with the call that she'd amassed. Every day she tried to break us down, take the flag down from the mast. But we stood there all united, set the scabs down from the south with their cries for a ballot, taking food from our kids' mouths. And we'll dance, yes we'll dance, we'll dance on your grave, Mrs. Thatcher. We'll dance, yes we'll dance, we'll dance on your grave, Mrs. Thatcher.
Would you like an M&M?
No, I bloody wouldn't.
Well, it's absolutely non-negotiable.